recording.
I'm going to tip over.
Okay.
Okay, just going back to it.
Okay, so do you remember where you left off?
Yeah, it's just the words. Remember?
Okay. Yeah, it should be easy. And you won't have the backwards S.
That's
Backwards,
true. That was kind of embarrassing. So wait, you never really told me, or maybe you did. What got you into flying?
I've always been into flying. It's always something, I mean, as far back as I can remember, like, I wanted to, my dream, like, job, moneymaker thing was I was going to own an airport.
Really?
Yeah.
That's ambitious.
And, I was going to own an airport and, yeah, stuff. And I don't know what got me into it. I know we used to, my grandmother would pull us all out of school to go to the air show at El Toro stuff. It was like my grandfather, well, not really my grandfather, but I guess my grandmother married him, before I was born. And stuff, because my real grandfather, my mom's dad, died like when she was like a freshman in college.
Oh.
And stuff. So by the time, mid-80s rolled around, we've been gone for a while and stuff. So she remarried, and the guy she married is like number 2 in command over at El Toro. And so they have, for the family members of people who live at who work at the base, they'd have an air show on Friday, and you could go in, and they could bring their whole extended family and stuff.
Right.
And so she would actually get all of us, all the cousins, she'd come to our school and take us all out of school for, in hindsight it was like, why do we even go to school? Because it would be like 9:30 or something.
Yeah.
It's like, well, school started at 8, so at 9:30 you're gone. But but she would come and get all of us, and pretty much all went to the same school. We're different ages and stuff, but we'd go, and that was, I don't know, I remember that being just so cool and stuff. And I remember like when we'd go on trips, like you'd get in the plane and it was like you'd go these long distances, and it was like, I don't know, it just seemed like you could go anywhere and stuff. And so anyway, so then when I got older, when I joined CAP, and that was fun because like got me kind of closer to flying, but I didn't really I was short of getting to go up a few times. I probably would have, probably less than 10 times in CAP, because I found out it was like, well, the whole program's based around flying, but it's not based around you getting your license and stuff. I didn't really understand like what it took to get your license either at the time,
Right.
and stuff. But then when I graduated high school, I decided, I don't know if it was towards the end of high school or if it was after I graduated, I decided that, you know what, enough's enough. I'm going to get my license and stuff. And so I started looking into what does it take to get your license. And, you know, and I realized that I had these savings bonds from when I did a lot of eventing and did a lot of contests and stuff. And they were all coming due. And so I had, I don't know, probably about 10 grand. So that was good. And some family members, you know, really wanted to help me out. So they paid for, you know, quite a bit and stuff. Like one of them said, well, I want to pay for 10 hours. So tell me what it costs to do 10 hours of playing, and I'll pay for it.
That's really
stuff,
cool.
You know, it's like, well, it's $130 an hour. And it's like, okay, and he gave me a $1,300 check. You know, stuff. So, yeah. So then between my senior year of high school and my freshman year of college, I mean, it's part of why a bunch of my friends kind of thought that I dropped off the face of the planet, and it was partially true because it was like the first time that I'd really had a girlfriend too, and she was like I don't mind being like close with somebody and seeing them a lot, but it was like one of those things where it was like
all the time.
Yeah, like you know, and I mean, like, you know, I don't know and stuff, but I didn't really realize it as anything bad, and so I you know, so I was like either there all the time or flying so much the rest of my time was dedicated to flying.
Right.
And I did almost nothing else the whole summer, and you know, and stuff, and then, you know, in hindsight, it's like, wow, she turned out to not be. I don't know, just, you know, that kind of ended up. Turned out it was like, oh, and then as soon as I went to school, it was like, it wasn't just that she didn't just want me to be there all the time, she just wanted somebody to be there all the time. And stuff. With her. Like,
okay.
It was like more like daddy issues.
Oh, boy.
You know, and stuff. So, you know, so then of course as soon as I went to school, you know, within weeks of me going to school, she was already messing around, I guess. And stuff, and it was just
I'm sorry.
like, yeah. So, anyways, that kind of sucked. Actually, it really sucked. But that's okay. You know, that was. I guess it wasn't my first girlfriend, but it was like my first like serious girlfriend, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, like. Anyway, but as far as the flying goes, I mean, I was up probably 6 times a week. You know, and so you figure, you know, each time you go up, it's like, well, okay, it's a 2-hour lesson, but you get there early to prep the plane. You know, and then you go with the instructor, you know, you do some groundwork before you go up. So a 2-hour lesson equates to like 1.2 hours in the plane. And then afterwards, the instructor jumps to the next person, but you got to take care of putting the plane away and, you know, and paying for the plane and paying for the instructor's time and stuff. And then, you know, then before that, you know, there's the time getting to and from the airport. And then you've got to study because there's like stuff that you've got to learn and know for each flight. Otherwise, you know, it's not really worth your time because, you know, then you're basically studying the stuff you should have studied on the ground in the plane. So you're paying, you know, at the time $130 an hour for the plane plus $50 an hour for the instructor, paying $180 an hour to learn something that you could have learned on your own for nothing.
Right.
You know, and stuff. So you're studying. So a 2-hour lesson probably comes out to like 6 hours of your time. So if you're doing 2 lessons a day, you know, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, then it's like, well, you've got to, you know, if you're doing that, then you've got to, you know, put basically 10, 12 hours into it. So 6 times a week, that'd be like basically 4 to 5 days with a couple days where you did more than one. And, you know, so I just kind of had no life. But by the end of the summer, I soloed and went to school. And then when I was up at school, I worked on the navigation stuff. Because soloing basically means that you can fly the plane.
Wow.
But it doesn't,
That's cool.
you know, like, it doesn't mean you can go somewhere. Like, it doesn't mean that you won't get lost. And stuff. It just means that if there's an airport and you know where you're going, that you can land it and you can you can, if you stall, you know what to do. If
Mhm.
something weird happens, you know what to do. So then when I was up at school, I just did a lot of navigation stuff,
Hmm.
and then got my license. And it took me until I think, May, end of April, beginning of May, to get my license. So yeah.
Like in retrospect, like now that I've finished with college and stuff, and just like distance between me and my friends, like you disappearing for like 3 months, 3 or 4 months is nothing. Because like the
Right.
last time I've seen some of these people have been like 6 or 7 months.
Right. Yeah.
And
Well,
it seems so like, but like when you're in high school, it's like you see them every day for the last 5 years, and you're just like, it's a huge deal when your friends disappear because you're like so close with them for so long, and then as you get older, you kind of go, oh well, I mean everyone's kind of got their things to do, and then it's just like.
Well, that's the thing is like I think about it now and like, I'm kind of like, oh man, I feel like kind of such a douche. Like, I haven't gone back to Santa Cruz since I graduated. I graduated in December of '09. Like,
Jesus.
and
Yeah.
stuff, and so it's like, and stuff. And my friends like, yeah, you should come up and like, we'll hang out and stuff, and and like, but it doesn't feel like that long really. I mean, it's like, okay, I just graduated, like, and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, I turned 25 this year.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But hopefully it doesn't scare you away.
No. I've had.
You turned 23 this year, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, see, that's only 2 years.
What have I done with my life that I can be proud of? Nothing.
Oh, a lot, actually. You've already made one of these videos.
Yeah, but I feel like there's so many other 23-year-olds they're going out there and changing the world, and
Like who?
I
Who's
don't
doing what?
know. I feel like my friend Hunter is. He's getting all involved and stuff as much as
Mm-hmm. And you're looking to do missions. You're getting your EMT.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm just always in the middle of doing something, but I haven't seen it through so that I can be like, yeah, and I've done this, and I'm successful for it because of that. It's kind of frustrating. It's just like this perpetual feeling like I'm always in school and I'm always working towards something, but I haven't gotten to the point where I can be like, okay, and I've done this and I'm really proud of myself, It's a frustrating feeling because I'm kind of impatient. I think I've already told you this like multiple times.
But I mean, you've graduated, and that's a big deal. And not only did you graduate, but it wasn't just graduating from, from four-year school, because you had to graduate from community college first. And like, I can tell you, I know a lot of people that are in the sort of perpetual community college thing. It's like, wow, weren't you in community college when I was in high school? Like,
Yeah.
And like, I think you just kind of feel like that up until you finish things, and then, and then even then, you still kind of feel like, oh well, I've got all these things, like, like, I don't know, a few years ago when I looked at myself, I was like, I thought by now, I don't know, I envisioned that by now I'd be like building vehicles, and like building a prototype and like, whatever, and it's like, what do? Well, I work at Costco, and stuff, and like, I don't know, I mean, I do get kind of down on myself, but to keep remembering like, well, I'm not going to be at Costco forever, like.
Yeah, it's just to get you by now, because,
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, okay, so I'm not going to be at Costco forever, but what am I doing to get myself out of there?
Yeah.
And stuff. And it's like, well, okay, really, if we look at it, we go, okay, when I started there, I owed, I don't want to say a lot of money, but I mean, I was having trouble making payments for things like credit cards and, and I was having trouble, and it was like, I was, basically using money from one place that I really should be saving for something else to pay something else off, and like, it was bad. So it took, a few months to kind of get out of that, because even, you know, like the first month you're like, okay, I paid all that stuff off, but I still don't have any money to pay this other stuff. You know, so now I'm still, you know, kind of in that, but, you know, okay, and then, you know, and then I was looking at it and I was like, okay, all my flying stuff expired. And I needed to redo all of that. So, you know, I kind of did that, and then it was like, okay, and my car was not really working, and, you know, I had to come up with a solution to that, and now it works, and there's, you know, so there are these little milestones that are being met, but, you know, when I look at it as, you know, on the surface it doesn't feel like it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and I'm sure that if you look at, like, you know, what you're doing and stuff, it's, you know, it's like, well, but look at this, you're doing these videos, and you're doing these projects where you're actually getting, you know, kind of your creative juices flowing, and you just built a computer, and you know, you are making headway.
Yeah.
You know.
And like, in reality, I'm just, you know, kind of being a whiny little, you know, poo-poo head about it, because, like, I realize that a lot of things just take a lot of time, and I can't just, like, judge it so quickly. And I'm like, and I try to stay positive. You know, it's like what you said, like, you look back and you're like, oh, but I haven't done all these, but really I'm making headway. And